You in this battle, man, I'll soon be dead. I'll glue your face to my dick so I can fuck with your head. I got metaphors coming through my pores. You probably never been in a battle before, so I hope you realize your mistake. There ain't no party, got some candles, this won't be a piece of cake.
You're there. It's like, it's daytime, like family walking around with kids, which is not the ideal environment for what I do.
Yeah.
And like audio is great. It's not that great, but like I had a surprisingly good set under the circumstances. It was really good.
Hell yeah, dude. I love that when you're like, the chips are stacked against me and you're like, I somehow pulled it off.
Yeah.
I somehow did what I was seemingly impossible for me to do.
Supposed to do, yeah.
I think 90% of it, dude, is like, I literally, and not in a cool guy way, I just like don't care if it goes bad, and then now it just doesn't go bad. I'm like, oh. Cool. You know?
Oh, I think I'm not like worrying about it, but like I wouldn't say I don't care if I don't want it to go bad.
Oh, I don't want it to go bad, but if it goes bad, also I've had like so many like, oh, someone important's watching, and then I do well, and that important person either like left the room before I went up, or they thought it was great, shook my hand, gave me a big smile, and I never heard from them again. Yeah. So I'm like, every set I do, I'm like, not in a nihilistic way, just in a average way. I'm just like, oh, this doesn't matter.
No one of value has ever watched my stand-up.
Well, we're recording.
Folks, welcome to the 4 Hours Podcast. And if you're watching this and you're a fan of Ilya, he thinks real highly of you. But guys, if you've never joined us, it's a internet radio phenomenon hosted by an occasional morning person. I ask my best buds about their sleep, their routine, life, love, stress, and setbacks, unless they've already been on the show. And then we're going to talk about other shit, dude. What is going on, Ilya?
Not much. I always forget what this podcast is. In my head, I'm like, oh, breakfast time with Bobby. And then it's like, and then I'm like, before sunset, and just think of the movies. And then it's like, okay, before hours, I got you.
Yeah. I mean, it's a very like loose premise.
It's just like just something to like put your foot on and say, this is what we're doing.
I thought about changing it to Bobby Babbles because of the alliteration, and also it just tells you like this guy, his name is Bobby, he's going to be babbling. But then I looked up on YouTube, there's a guy named Bobby Babbles, and he posts regularly. Now he has dozens of viewers, right? So I have, not to brag, a little bit more than that. So I'm like, is it ethical? Am I being ethical in taking that name? Should I send this guy a DM?
Have you bought up all the domains with that name and everything?
I should do that, shouldn't I?
Yeah, I mean, I would recommend fucking him over completely.
Ooh, okay. Bobby Babbles, if you're listening, maybe I should.
He calls himself Bobby Babbles, or he's saying Bobby and I'm babbling. Like,
no, that's the name of his channel. Because I thought about Bobby Babbles, but dude, I was in a punk band in high school, and I'm familiar with like. I'm born in 1990, so just a middle of the road millennial. So when I had a punk band in high school, I had a MySpace page, and the effort to find a band name that wasn't already taken, because you would put it through MySpace and there'd be like 3 of them. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I YouTubed Bobby Babbles, and this guy came up. So I don't know.
What's his shtick? What's he do?
I think he's like a talk to the camera kind of guy, you know? I didn't do a deep dive.
Based on the fact that it's a YouTube
channel,
and he's on there that he talks to the camera. Beyond that, what's his shtick?
I don't know.
I
probably shouldn't have said any of this on air, because if I
have you thought about starting like an internet beef with him? That gets you traction.
Maybe, dude. I did a deep dive the other day of 2 white rappers, Eminem, who you might know, and Cage, who you might not know.
Never heard of him.
They had a beef, dude, and I watched a 3-hour YouTube video essay about their beef.
Yeah, and can you summarize it in 15 seconds?
Yes, I can. So they were both horrorcore rappers in the late 90s, early 2000s, and they were white, and Cage thought that Eminem stole style from him, and he never got over it. And then Eminem stopped insulting him once he got way more famous than him.
Okay, cool.
That was 15 seconds.
That was probably close.
I'm proud of myself.
Good for you. I wouldn't be proud, but
Are you a music guy?
Yeah.
What kind of music?
Punk, mostly just punk.
Yeah, I get a punk rock vibe from you.
Because I'm so fucking against authority.
You're so against authority, dude.
I'm like, and because I carved the anarchy symbol into my side with a rusty knife.
I've always wondered why you did that.
I just wanted to know what tetanus felt like. I thought that was the easiest way to do it.
So who are your guys? What do you listen to? Like who were some of the first punk bands you started to listen to as a budding teen?
Well, even before that, like Dookie, like Green Day, like that was huge. 94. I was born in 86. I was 8 years old. So I think my brother got the album. It's like, it's still a seminal album. So great. And then like that 94 was like the year that punk kind of had a resurgence. So it was like Rancid and The Offspring. So that's definitely how I got into it. And I still love Rancid and early Green Day. So
Operation Ivy, how do we feel?
yeah, I love Op Ivy.
Hell yeah.
I got into them probably later because Rancid first, and then you know about Op Ivy.
I actually found out about Operation Ivy from an underground Green Day CD. It was 1039 Smooth Out
That's
Slap
Ivy.
Hours.
Yeah, they cover knowledge on that. Yeah.
Yeah. And little did I know.
Did you call it Underground Green Day CD?
Yeah, because it was before Dookie.
It was before Dookie, but they were a major label act at the time. That you could purchase that album in Sam Goody.
Did I misuse the term underground?
Well, it wasn't underground at the time, and I'm just being a dick for no reason, so I don't know.
Yeah.
Now that
This podcast is over.
Now that I know that the producer can make an audible laugh, I'm going to be very self-conscious if there's no more laughs.
Every time you don't hear a laugh?
It's like, that no laugh. Fuck, I got to
Oh, you weren't here for the time I asked Maxim a question. He was like, I'm sorry, I'm not listening. He's like, I'm doing Mandarin Duolingo. I can't listen to you babble.
Yeah.
Maxim, please do Mandarin Duolingo at abandon. What level are you at, by the way?
I think I just passed 900 days.
Ooh,
Is that
ni
4 chilies or
hao.
5 chilies? I'm thinking of Chinese menu. Sorry. I thought there was enough sipping.
Well, that's the thing about Chinese Duolingo is you do it and then 15 minutes later you want to do it again.
That's technically a joke too.
Yeah. My dad hates Chinese food,
Does
but
he?
he doesn't mind Chinese people at all.
That's nice.
Did you know that Dookie was originally supposed to be called Liquid Dookie?
Yeah. And there was like too much, so they
I know.
pulled it back a bit.
Can you imagine being a record exec and dealing with just people in their early 20s being assholes? They're like, hey, what if we call it Liquid Dookie? And it's like, I do know that you guys can do a thing I can't do, and you have a face that I don't have. But can we not call your debut album Diarrhea, please?
Yeah. What do record execs know?
Yeah.
You should take a shot on people.
Mm-hmm.
They're just like gatekeepers. We
Yeah.
should just kill them all, really.
Well, luckily, there's no more gatekeepers to comedy except for a robot. There's a robot.
Is there a
behind-
robot gatekeeper?
I think that's what algorithm is, right? A robot.
Do you think it's called algorithm? Like,
Ooh,
it's
maybe
a robot named
a
algorithm?
guy with a cigarette.
Yeah. What?
Yeah.
Why the cigarette?
I can't think of everything, dude.
I'm just curious. Why the cigarette? How does that connect to the idea that we're riffing on? Is the robot smoking? Is it a robot named Algorithm and he smokes for some reason?
Yeah, dude, it's fucking anthropomorphic. Like, and then you're supposed to do the next part. Okay, hold on. We're breaking the fourth wall. I say a guy with a cigarette, and then you go, yeah, and a leather jacket, and then we just
And
kind
then
of
we're just and when he pounds on the record player, it starts playing.
yes,
And he lives in the attic of his friend's house in Wisconsin.
we did it. Whoa,
Yeah.
Wisconsin. Oh, it's always from a nowhere place, right?
You're aware I'm talking about Happy Days, right?
No idea.
Maxim, did you get that? That I was talking about Fonzie.
Oh, if he didn't get it, I don't feel so bad now. Okay.
I have no idea what what audience I'm supposed to be catering to.
Dude, it's just me and my pals. You know what I mean? That's really all it is.
When he said smoking and then leather jacket, it's like, I'm going to do something about the Fonz.
Yeah. Hey.
You know, a 60-year-old reference
Dude.
for today's.
So
Take
Henry Winkler is Jewish, right? Which I think
Yes.
is great. But he plays.
Do you do that every time? I don't think I've ever seen you not take the opportunity to do that. You never you never try to save it. It's like, I'm going to hold off on it so I can really enjoy it later. You're like, I'm going to do this here and now.
I'm an impulsive man, dude. I can't wait. But Henry Winkler is Jewish, but Fonzie, the character from Happy Days, is Christian. In fact, there's an episode where he gets baptized. He gets an adult baptism.
Yeah.
Right. And I remember this because as a child, when I watched Nick at Night, I watched the end of the episode where Fonzie gets baptized, and he, you know how his thing was, he would look at the camera and go, "Ay." So he did that, but he looked up as if to say "Ay" to Yahweh. But isn't that weird that they made him Christian? Because that was the 70s by that point. I know like the purpose of Happy Days is it's like a nostalgic thing where they're in the 50s, but it was released in the 70s.
Yeah.
It's like their version of that 70s show, basically. Right. So why couldn't Fonzie have been a Jew? This is the civil rights issue nobody else wants to touch.
So why couldn't he have been a Jew?
Yeah.
I suppose there's no reason.
Yeah. I suppose there is no reason, guys. Unless, I mean, 70s,
Maybe
man.
because maybe the fact that he lived in their attic would have been a bit too much for them. If they're trying to keep him hidden from the local. I assume they had a Klan presence in like Wisconsin in the 50s.
I think so, dude.
I think Indiana is where the Klan started, something there, right? It's not like some like hick southern place. I think it's like something like that.
Well,
could be
it
wrong.
definitely started in the post-Civil War South, but it definitely moved to like modern day red states. Definitely, like especially their revival.
There was a precursor to the KKK, wasn't it? Like, but wouldn't it actually be called
The Knights of the White Circle, but it was all about.
Oh, you do know a lot more about this than I thought. I'm sort of vaguely referencing things I may or may not have heard, but you seem like you have all the information. Really,
I have all
ready
the
to go.
information, which I think is great.
No, it's 1843. Daniel. Okay.
Daniel's such a funny name for a.
Do you want to know how they got their hoods? Anyway, they were trying to.
They wear whites because they're supposed to be
like the ghosts of
the ghosts of Confederate soldiers. Yeah. See, You, all right. Don't pretend like you don't.
And that's why black people are still afraid of ghosts. It's bred into them, right? That's not a good way to say that. It's a generational trauma.
You know where I think you're thinking of Indiana, is that's where the Brandenburg test comes from. It was a Klan rally in Indiana.
I think is that Brand? I don't remember. Skokie, Illinois, I think is the one where they're rallying through the street. Is that that's the famous one? I think you're talking about. Is it called Brand? I don't remember I think it's just called Skokie.
Am I confusing my eye states? Possibly.
You might be. You might be in a state of eye confusion.
Brandenburg is like where the Supreme Court was like, we actually have to be more specific about what like a call to violence is. If I remember,
the name's familiar. I just don't remember the particular case, but something.
I think this guy named Brandenburg was being filmed, and this is like in the 70s or 80s. I mean, this is classic podcast where I don't know any information. I just talk. Yeah. But the difference between me and other podcasts is that I'm not speaking as if I know this is 100% true. But he was Brandenburg, and he was like a Klan doofus. And
Grand Doofus.
Grand Doofus, that's actually one of the levels.
Yeah. Honey, you're not gonna believe this. Guess what I am now? Grand Doofus with the KKK.
But basically, he said on TV that if we don't do something about the blacks and the Jews, then we'll have to do something about it. And then he got arrested for that. Okay, and then the Supreme Court was like, just saying doing something about it isn't like a threat. It's just too vague.
Yeah. It's probably contextual though. Mm-hmm. Like, if there was a previous established history of what they mean by that, you know, all those Supreme Court things are like incitement to violence, free speech stuff. Like it's all just constantly trying to figure out, like narrow down like what is or is not within our understanding of what it should be.
Because you went to law school, right?
I did.
I took some pre-law classes in undergrad and then decided I didn't want to be a lawyer.
I took some pre-cum classes. Sorry, I want to do a Bobby joke.
If you're just listening,
I always showed up too early. I'm crushing it. This is so good. You should follow me if you're listening.
You definitely should. I mean, we'll do plugs at the end, but we could also do plugs throughout if you want.
I'll constantly plug. Every time I make myself and Bobby laugh, I'm going to say, you guys should follow me. I got another producer laugh. I think or he was clearing his throat. Either way, it counts.
Hey, any sound is a sound. You know how
That's
they
true.
say
sounds are sounds. Thank you.
I
agree.
That's like a Socrates thing, I think, right? You know what?
Sounds are sounds.
He was like the original, like, what if things were stuff guy, and everyone's like, we don't have internet now, so we're actually amazed by everything you say. Isn't that cool?
Well, if to the extent that Socrates actually existed and wasn't like a sort of a manifestation of his students or something, I don't know if that's actually certain that he is. Because when I studied Greek philosophy, it was like, I think like Plato was writing about him. Like he didn't have his own writings per se. Okay. He was only referenced, I believe. This could all be wrong. It's been a long time since I gave a shit about this.
That is interesting. And then I wonder if Plato thought of all that stuff and he was like, it sounds kind of arrogant if I'm like, here are all of the amazing things I thought of. So he's like, I have a friend, his name is
Well, it's
Plato.
pretty cool. Like Aristotle like invented biology and like 20 other just kinds of like sciences and Inquisition. So it's pretty cool to get there early on.
Yeah. Shout out to like the innovators, honestly. I always think of like, what if I went back in time? Would I be great? And I think the answer is no. Because why would
great and what's like just great in like a historical sense or just a good person?
Like I always think
you could just go back in time and be like a pretty nice guy.
But not
achieve anything.
Dude, when you think about it, like almost everyone is forgotten within a few generations. Like, I don't know my great-great-great-grandfather's name.
Tim?
You know it?
Yeah.
Tim. That's such a funny name for a guy in the 1820s to be named. Not Timothy, just Tim.
Yeah. Just Tim.
What's the farthest you could go back for your, like, ancestors?
I think technically my mom is able to trace it back decently fast, but I don't know if it's like we never did like one of those genealogy things, but I think probably a couple grands
Wizards.
away, couple grand wizards back in the pre-Soviet Union. Actually,
Yeah.
I don't know how far back, but something like that. But
It is sort of fascinating to think about, like, wow, we are just like the descendants of people
Yep.
that lived just thousands of years ago, right? And because we want to do comedy, it ends with us. Isn't that cool?
It's like, goddamn, these people. Do you know how many generations of women had to get raped in order for us to exist? Are you going to throw it away on punchlines?
That is another uncomfortable truth. Is like, up until, I don't even know, 1,000 years ago, that's how all babies were made. Is a woman that kind of didn't either explicitly didn't want to, or through circumstances had to. And
Who do you think was the first woman to kind of be into it?
She must have been.
And that guy tells the other people, no, I swear to God, she really liked it. It's like, shut up.
That's the version of the guy being like, the sex worker liked me, or the stripper liked me. He was like, my wife had an orgasm. They're like, wait, your wife
Had a what?
Yeah, hold on, your wife ejaculates? No, that's not what I mean, but she made like the same face that we make. And they're like, I do not understand, dude.
I've never seen their face.
Yeah.
Why are you looking at their face? How do you fuck them from behind and see their face? Or are you near like a really clear lake?
That's interesting. Probably the first guy that had missionary was like, these seems to be like good sounds. I want to check this out. I want to see what's going on with her. You know what I mean?
But so you're thinking like missionary is more enjoyable for women than doggy or something like that?
I think when you're a like hit her over the head caveman type guy, it's exclusively doggy style.
Okay.
Yeah. Because it's I mean, that's why animals do. I mean, that's why like dogs do it, because it's just like quick.
No, I've been training my dog to do missionary. It's been really hard. Their bodies do not conform to that position. The penis just doesn't go in that direction at all. It's so difficult.
Oh, man.
What if that's my life goal? Was to train dogs to do missionary?
Dude, I want to tell you the dumbest I've ever felt. I was talking to a mutual friend of ours, Jeff Greenspan, friend of the show, right? And he's a gay man.
Gay Jew.
And he was a gay Jew, which I think is great.
Yeah.
But he was telling me, he was like, listen to how dumb this straight guy was that I was talking to the other day. Right? So this is Jeff talking to me. He's like, this is what a straight guy told me. He was like, don't you feel bad as a gay man that like you can't have missionary? And he's like, we can have like, it's anal sex still, but it's missionary.
Yeah.
So you just push the penis to the side and still do it. And as he's saying that, that was like news to me. And I like had to keep my face like
it was that meme of Zach. It's like, logistically, how does this work?
Magnets, how do they work? Yeah, because I don't know. Because I actually and there's no like way to say this where people aren't like, are you sure, really? But like, I never really watched gay porn, right?
I haven't either.
Yeah.
I've also never tasted my own cum. And I feel like
That
those
I
are
have
things
done.
that I've just never, and I'm not like saying I'm better or I just like, if anything, I'm mad at myself for being such an incurious person, but I've just never.
I didn't like put it in a glass and like mix it with protein powder and drink
I didn't
drink
even
it.
ask if that's how you did it. It wouldn't even occur to me. I assumed you did it just like, oh, I came.
It was a finger type, and it was more of a like
You were testing like a drug dealer in a movie to make sure it was pure. I got you.
I put it on a scale.
It's like tested. It's like
The guy that invented the
cum.
The guy that invented the cum, which is Yahweh, may he be praised. No, that's not even how they.
So fun.
Yahweh,
I don't know. That's
may
not
he
legit
be
to me.
praised. The guy that invented the microscope was also the guy that like invented sperm. Discovered sperm.
Yeah.
I'm such an idiot, dude. But like that's the male impulse, right?
Yeah.
As soon as you're like, I could see microscopic organisms, you're like, I'm gonna put my own cum in it.
Dude, how? Wait, what?
Yeah, the guy invented a microscope.
No, but you said as soon as I discovered microscopic organisms, I'm going to put my own cum in it. That's what you said.
Well, yeah, okay. There's a lot of parentheses, ... fill in the gap. I'm not like the most eloquent speaker, really. Yeah.
How terrifying must it be if you're that guy and you discovered that your cum has these tiny little bugs in it? Wouldn't you freak out? You'd be like, oh my God, is everyone like this? You'd ask a friend at least to check his first,
Like,
right? What if it's just me?
I'm like the inventor guy, and then I come up to you. I'm like, Ilya, I need your cum.
Yeah.
And this is like however many hundreds of years ago, and you're like, I've been waiting my whole life for a man to say this to me, because you're in the closet. So
Yeah,
there's no
and then
other
we
way.
try missionary, and it's like, I didn't know we could do this. That's wild. Figure this out.
Oh man, yeah.
No, but seriously, if you're like, what is it, Van Leeuwen, whatever, like, whoever invented the microscope, like,
It sounds familiar.
like in the 18th century, 90, whatever it was,
Mhm.
like you put your cum under a microscope, and then you see that it's just liquid with a bunch of tiny single-celled organisms inside.
I would
I would
immediately.
be horrified.
I'd be like, those are demons. I
Yeah.
have demons in my cum.
Yep,
Right, which is
Yeah.
actually true in my case because I am a redhead.
you do have
But,
cum. Dew.
I know, dude. Can you imagine bringing another redhead into this world?
It's-
Yikes.
yeah, scary thought. That's why
I had that. This is like a couple months ago. Somebody was like, "Oh, my son has red hair," and I wanted to be like, prepare him for his life.
Yeah.
Like, make him get a gym membership on his 15th birthday. Redheads can go either way because if you have model tier looks and you have red hair, it's like a nice little bonus. But
Yeah.
like if you're just like a regular guy or God forbid worse, and you have red hair, it's just like
Yeah.
yikes, dude. You know
Have
what
you,
I mean?
have you ever thought about dyeing your hair?
No, people ask me that all the time, and
And you never take the hint.
I
Okay.
never take the hint. Dude.
Everyone consistently gives me the same piece of advice. I just never listen to it.
My mom asked me while crying.
Bobby, for me. I'm gonna make your mom an old Italian woman. I know. I didn't want to go Irish. I thought Italian sounded funnier in the concept.
And it's an easier accent. Too,
It is
let's be
easier.
real. My thought process, and I've tried a bunch of different looks. Never dyed my hair. Outside of that Halloween show where I played Eminem, that was very fun. But like 4 looks, I never dyed my hair because I'm like, my eyebrows are red, my arm hair is red. Like, I'm not gonna fool anybody into thinking that I have jet black hair. And if I dye my hair blonde, it's just gonna look. You ever see guys that try to dye their hair blonde and it just looks yellow?
Yeah.
Like they just kind of look like a Simpsons character.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. There's something weird about.
Now that you point out how light your eyebrow color is, it almost looks like you don't have eyebrows.
Yeah.
It is distracting.
I'm sorry, but
All I just see is the orbital bone.
I know. Yeah.
No, you have very, very faint eyebrows.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that.
Not a compliment.
It's-
Just pointing it out, but okay.
But people have said like, oh, do you have like, are your eyelashes, eyebrows, arm hair blonde? And no, it's the same color as my hair.
Yeah,
it's just that it's less.
Yeah, you need a certain density before you can really notice it.
Less volume. There is something creepy about a man that like puts too much, a straight man that puts too much effort into how he looks.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like, it's like, what are you doing, man?
yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it's
I
just
agree.
how I feel.
That's how I feel too. I just don't have anything funny to add
Yeah.
to it. But I concur.
Yeah. I
we're
don't
on
know.
the same
Did you
page.
ever go through like a period?
Yep. That's my only gimmick is I just cut you off mid-sentence.
No, it's
I
good.
gotta stop doing that.
No, I mean,
I'm really relying on a crutch. But yes,
did you
did I go through a period of what?
ever go through a period in like high school where you tried like different looks and stuff? Like I knew you were into
No.
punk music. You could just always kind of look like
I was
this.
just always, yeah.
You always had the beard?
Yeah, since I was a baby. I had no, I started growing it was college when I started growing the beard, and then I pretty much just had it since
Dude,
then.
I tried like the gambit of facial hair. I tried everything. I had like
what?
every sort of
The gambit?
Is that not?
Gambit.
Oh, okay.
Gambit is a X-Men character and also a chess move.
Oh, the Queens. Gambit, the
Yes,
Queens.
the Queen.
She's not a true redhead, by the way.
Anya Taylor-Joy.
She isn't. Neither is Sexy Red, dude. And honestly,
I've heard she's like a rapper or something?
she's a rapper, but she doesn't have like she wears like a red wig or like dyes her hair red. She's not a natural redhead. If anything, I should be Sexy Red.
If
I couldn't
anything,
even say that with a straight face.
if it's not her, it could only be me.
Yeah.
No other options that I can think of.
Yeah. I mean, name another attractive redhead.
Do you like
Okay.
red? Do you have like a redhead affinity in any way?
No, I don't think so. But not in either direction, right?
Okay. You don't
Yeah.
particularly hate him. You don't.
No, it's
There's nothing inside you that's like, I must make red babies.
no.
Nothing innate.
No, I don't think so. No, I don't feel that way.
That's cool.
But I'm not like I don't feel anyway about hair color really. But I don't know, there probably would be something like I've never like seriously dated a girl with red hair.
What if it's like a white girl but she had a black guy's afro? How would that work?
I'm listening.
That's it. I don't mean like
What if
curly bushy hair. I mean
someone's
straight
drawing
up,
it right now?
like straight up black guy afro on a white chick.
Can I ask a question about the difference between a black man afro and a black woman afro? Because I feel like it's the same hairstyle.
I
There
do,
a
but I just
difference?
think. But when you think of, because white women can have afros,
Mhm.
I'm talking about like that really fine curly black hair, not just like small fine curly brunette or something.
Yeah, but like black women have the same hair as black men.
Yeah, but I think a tighter curl still. You know
Huh.
what? Now I think about it, in my head, I feel like black women's afros are not as dense as black guys' afros.
We should clip this part specifically. And actually, if I
Do you get what my feeling about, like my instinct about it? Doesn't it feel like, I feel like black women afros are like, they're a little more loose and more free, and a black guy afro, I feel like the hair is a little bit more firm.
You know what? After this podcast,
We should probably can we cut all of this? This is a horrible tangent to go down.
No, I don't. It's just not a view I had, but I don't disagree with it.
Yeah,
You know, I'm gonna.
it's not a view. It's more just like a gut feeling.
that
that I'm more than happy to be corrected on.
Yeah, I didn't grow my hair out as a teenager because I was afraid it had like a fro
Yeah,
quality to it. Someone suggested I get long hair,
yeah.
and I disagree with that. I don't know. I feel like I don't. This probably makes zero sense. I feel no type of way about another man having long hair, but if I had long hair, I'd feel like someone was pulling it while fucking me from behind. You know what I mean?
You mean all the time?
Yeah, all the time.
I used to have very long hair. It did not occur to me.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay. Nice.
but I was constantly fucked from behind in public. Honestly, good idea. Don't get the long hair. You're asking for it at that point.
So here's the trajectory of, and this is in no specific order because I can't remember the order, but here is my facial hair journey, right?
Yeah.
Beard, not connecting here or here, right? The beard,
Like a chin beard or like just mutton chops.
No, I had like what you have, except I couldn't grow.
Okay.
The mustache didn't connect with the beard,
Yeah.
which sucks.
I got
And
you.
it also I had what I call the anti-Hitler mustache, where I
Yeah.
had hair
Okay,
here,
yeah, like
but
those-
not
like the
where
Salvador
he.
Dali kind of
Yes.
split mustache thing.
Yeah, and that was the same era of my life where I was drawing clocks, so that makes sense. But I said clocks, by the way. But I had that, and then I was like, this is kind of scraggly and not good.
Yeah.
Right. And then I had a chin strap,
Yeah.
very thin, like I was Dominican, and I wasn't. Like a very thin.
Oh, you got
like-
one of those?
Yeah.
Like the defining your jawbone ones?
Yeah.
Those are so.
No jawbone to speak
Garish.
of, though, because I was a man of size in those days, right? I do
Yeah.
remember that, where they're like, it will accentuate your jawline, and me, no jawline whatsoever. And I had that, and then I had what I call the Abraham Lincoln beard, or
Yeah.
AKA the Amish beard, which is, remember how I told you I couldn't connect my mustache? Beard, no mustache, crazy look.
Yeah.
Unless you're actually Abraham Lincoln or Amish or both, don't have that. Cringe.
If you're Amish Abraham Lincoln, you great news. You can
Yeah.
that can be your look.
Well, Abraham
was born
Lincoln,
in and built a
Amish
log
people, not having an iPad.
But they still, they shit gets to them. They
You think so?
I think so.
Mhm.
I think they have their. I'm trying to think. What's the expression like? When you're,
Rumspringa?
no, the expression where you're up to date with things. You have your feet on, not feet on. What the fuck?
You have your lizard.
Your finger on the pulse.
You have your.
I think that's what I was going for the idiom. They have their finger on the pulse of
Ooh,
what's
okay.
going on.
But not their finger on the pacemaker, huh? That's probably not allowed. You know what I heard recently? Do you know about? Oh yeah, I'm the one with the weird stuff going on, dude. Come on, you've been twitching since we sat here.
How dare you point out my very obvious mental condition?
Yeah, what is that? That's obsessive compulsive disorder, isn't it?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm. Have we talked about that the last time you were on here?
I don't think so.
Yeah. Well, what is that? It's not where you like wash your hands. Although I assume you do wash your hands.
I try not to. I prefer not to.
Okay.
I find it a massive inconvenience.
I like that you're so far in the other direction. You're like, I'm not
Yeah.
going to be one of those stereotypical OCD guys where I did see that on the train though. And I know that's like the stereotypical trait
What?
that not everybody with
the
OCD
Howard
has
Mandel
that.
thing, yeah.
But he had like basically the skin was like falling off.
Because he kept, yeah.
I mean, I'm assuming, maybe he had an accident at work, right? Like there was a cum accident or something.
Oh my God, a cum accident.
That's what my parents call me.
How's the cum accident doing?
So I was talking to my buddy Zach on the podcast, and he also has OCD, and he was telling me that he has obsessive thoughts about just like interesting things. He's very open about that. Every time he's worried he won't get hard. Like that's a recurring dream. He's like, you will never get an erection again. A thought. Sorry. A recurring obsessive thought is like, what if I never get an erection again?
Okay.
Right.
I don't have that, but like when I have sex, yeah.
Dude, there is. I get that 100%. I mean, I think everybody. That's not an OCD thing. That's a being a man above 27.
Yeah.
Thing.
Okay. It's like, come on, buddy, we gotta get this,
dude. And it's the last thing that will make you hard or keep you hard is, come on, you fucking idiot. Come on. You could do this.
It's like the end of a thriller. It's like in times, like it's a buzzer beater. It's like, you gotta get out. It's like, nah.
It's a Greek tragedy that when you're an adolescent, you're like, I'm hard all the time and I don't want to be. And now it's like, all right, now a woman is having sex with you.
That's why the Greeks are so brilliant. They knew to have sex with young boys to catch them at their prime.
All right, dude. Now we're heating up. Let's go.
I was very sudden.
Thank you, man. Yeah, I was feeling hot for the last few minutes.
You say thank you because I was sudden. What was the compliment? You do that a lot. You say thank you, but like, it's not a compliment. Just a thing I said. Just a passing comment. It's not even being polite. It's almost rude of you to say thank you in that context. Sorry, please continue.
I think, dude, we're talking about your OCD. You exposed my low-grade narcissism. You're like, I noticed your fucking pants are too small. I'm like, thank you so much. Thank you. I appreciate it.
You're just like, thank you for noticing me. You're like Alec Baldwin and Gina Davis and Beetlejuice. So like, no one sees us. I'm glad she finally saw us.
There is a thing, like, if everyone's looking at me, I'm still here. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Who said that? That's me doing a bit.
That's a great bit, man.
It's a fun bit.
Yeah. And we're both comedians.
That's true.
And we're both living in this crazy world, huh?
Yeah.
What has been going on in the world that you want to talk about?
Probably Israel, Palestine. I'm kidding. I don't.
Was that?
No, I don't know. What stuff's going on? I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
What's going on in the world that I care about.
Mm-hmm.
Watching The Rehearsal on HBO.
What is that?
Nathan Fielder's show.
Ooh,
It's
he's great, dude.
Fucking great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Anyway, that's it. That's the only thing I care about right now.
That's a tune in and tune out type situation. I think it's healthy to do that every once in a while. I was talking to a friend whose relative is like super obsessed with how bad the Trump administration is.
Yeah.
To the point where it's like, well, like ruminating on it. There's a difference between being informed and just ruminating on something that makes you upset.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And yeah, I've been trying to like convince different people in my life. Actually, I'm like, you could turn the notifications off on your phone.
Yeah.
That's a thing. Boomers, for as much as they're like, oh, millennials and Zoomers are like addicted to your phones. I'm like, you are the people that when you get a notification, it pings. Dude, my cortisol spikes just hearing someone else's phone ping.
Yeah. Really?
And they don't know how to turn their notifications.
Oh yeah.
It's not even like, oh, this is my son and he's telling me about his like third testicle operation where he's getting a third testicle added.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wait, are you complaining about your parents specifically, or just in?
No,
general?
I think my parents are pretty good. My dad fixates on how bad of a President Trump is. Like my dad, he's recently retired and he reads a lot in his retirement, and I'm just so happy he's retired.
Yeah,
because he was one of those guys where he was like, I'll always work at least part time. What am I going to do around the house all day?
Yeah,
and then he started to get older, and he was like, actually, I'm tired.
What did he do for a living?
He was a supermarket manager.
Cool.
Yeah. And yeah, hooked me up at my A&P job.
Nice. I worked in a supermarket for a month.
As a adolescent?
No, it's like first semester off from college.
Yeah. Yeah. It's, you know what I liked about it is, I wasn't a cashier. So
Yeah, I wasn't
stocking
either.
shelves.
Yeah, I was stocking the produce.
It rules, dude. If that paid a living wage, it'd be the best job.
Yeah.
Because it's just like,
I used to juggle like fruit sometimes just 'cause the novelty of it.
you could juggle?
I can only juggle like 3 objects, like a basic thing.
Okay. Well, it's more than I could do. I don't even think I could juggle 2. I could probably juggle 1, which is just throwing it up in the air, just joking around. But
I'm not going to acknowledge it. I'm not going to give you what you want. I know what you want. My reaction, I'm not giving it to you.
thank you.
It's a snicker.
I know.
Actually, snigger is the word, right? I think it is. SN. I think it is. I think it's snigger. Look it up for me. I'm just ordering them around. Jamie, look it up if you put an S in front of the N word. If it's a different word.
You're not you when you're hungry. Dude, have you been eating? Me, your Jewish mother. Have you eaten today?
I have eaten today.
What did you eat today?
What the fuck did I have today?
Language.
That's a good bit. 50 minutes in, just say language. Oh, got some pizza. Had some pizza.
Pizza.
Yeah.
Now, you're not one of these like don't eat until like very late in the day guys.
Well, a lot of the time I am. I'm not like a breakfast guy, but I've depends on a given day. But yeah, no, I'm not really a breakfast guy.
Yeah,
I told you this is mostly a podcast about breakfast. By the way,
it's the Breakfast Podcast.
like you could talk, you could pretend
it's the Breakfast Club.
The Breakfast Club.
What's going on?
Yeah, shit, that's a good name for a radio show. You should take Breakfast Club and Bobby Babbles.
Ooh.
Just wipe both of those entities off.
Did you
off the
watch that
charts.
movie? That's the 80s movie, right? Breakfast Club?
It is.
Like the different types of people, right?
Yep.
And hot take, the weird goth girl is not at all weird at all.
Ali Sheedy.
Yeah, she's like hot, but she has dandruff.
Yeah. Like basically just introvert, but with dandruff.
Mm-hmm. Classic Hollywood being like, the script calls for an ugly person. Let's get a very hot person and put them in makeup that makes them look average looking.
And I think common opinion is Ali Sheedy was probably hotter in that than Molly Ringwald.
Yeah, Molly Ringwald.
But she's a redhead, so naturally I think you have your allegiance.
Listen, I don't mind you dyeing your hair red or wearing a red wig. I'm just saying it can't be the core of your identity, right?
No, Ken, why can't it be? Why can't you make your whole thing being a redhead?
Yeah. I don't know. Strange. I think I've been doing comedy long enough. I must have been part of a show where everyone had
Gingers of
red hair.
comedy.
Yeah. And I went up and it's, the middle of July and it's an outdoor festival and there was no sunscreen. And I just kept repeating, I ain't scared of you motherfuckers. But I was talking to the sun rays. Huh? That's stupid.
That's a good bit.
Yeah.
Provided
Bernie Mac for those
anyone in
that
the
didn't
audience
catch the
knows who Bernie
reference.
Mac
Yeah.
was.
Shout out to Bernie Mac. Although I watched a lot of black comedy as a kid, right? Because a lot of black people do comedy, and I think that's great. But Bernie Mac, and this is going to sound odd, I remember watching him as a child, and I watched Chappelle, I watched Chris Rock, I watched Cat Williams, all different types of comedy, right? From black guys. Bernie Mac, I kind of can't understand what he's saying sometimes.
Oh yeah, no. A lot of the time.
Yeah.
Which is very funny. When you kind of understand it's funny, but yes, he was kind of incomprehensible a lot of the time.
He did, and it's yeah, exactly. It's not me not catching the cultural references as a 12-year-old white boy. It's like literally I couldn't understand. I have that problem too with certain British accents. Like I tried to watch Ricky Gervais' original Office, and half the time I'm like, I need fucking subtitles.
Okay, I think I watched enough British stuff, so like I think I'm familiar with the different regional accents anyway. So
well, with the English Office, there's a lot of the humor is that they speak real quietly, like it's a real subtle kind of humor, and I'm like, I can't. Also, I think I'm fucking losing my hearing a little bit, dude. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I'm wearing headphones constantly. I'm one of those guys that I just resign myself to the fact that if I do live to be an old man, I'm going to be one of those like, what? Because I just wear fucking
But they'll
headphones.
have good technology by that time.
That's true.
At it.
Do you think that we could defeat aging?
In my head, theoretically, I don't see why we couldn't, or at the very least, why we couldn't, all the Black Mirror thing, like upload your consciousness electronically. I don't see why it's not theoretically possible if we're made up of like electronic synapses and stuff like that. Like if all our thoughts are material, why can't that be converted into something else? But people much smarter than me, I'm sure, trying to figure it out, and I hope they do and use it to take over the world.
I feel like they're gonna figure it out the day after I die.
Yeah.
I'm gonna die, and they're like, everyone on this day moving forward is not gonna age.
You think you're gonna be the only person to die on that day?
Yeah.
Before then? Crazy news. No one else died today. I don't know what's going on. Normally, thousands of hundreds of thousands. How many people die a day on the planet?
I don't know, Maxim. Is that something you could Google?
So far, he's not Googled anything I've asked him to Google.
No. But we haven't explicitly asked him.
150,000.
Oh my god,
Every day?
150,000 every day.
How many people are born every day?
It's got to be above that because we're not at a population
Yeah,
decline.
because we're not the last of us.
Yeah.
I got you.
368,000.
Oh, okay, that's almost
So
double.
double, yeah.
Yeah,
All right.
nice,
You're
dude.
doing well.
Dude, 150,000. That's actually a number I should keep in the back of my mind when I'm like complaining about literally nothing.
Yeah.
Where I'm like 150,000. If 150,000, assume two people loves the person that dies. That's 300,000 people who had an awful, devastating day. And meanwhile, I'm like, I can't believe the train is delayed by 20 minutes. You know?
Yeah. I mean, there's no that like moral like relativism is not a useful rubric. It's like you're still entitled to have your opinions. Otherwise, we'd all be living in, in terrible, immiserated conditions because we're like, oh, I shouldn't complain because things could be worse. It's like, yeah.
Well, to me, it's like, it always comes.
Also, death is sweet relief. So I don't think those people are happier than me.
Yeah.
That's my 2 cents.
Yeah, I don't I'm not afraid of death, and the idea of like eternal oblivion, because I'm an atheist, so that's what I think happens probably.
Yeah.
Doesn't really bum me out, but if it could be helped. Like I'm definitely one of those people that are like, we 100% can upload your consciousness onto a computer and you're just going to be like a Richard Nixon head from Futurama.
Yeah.
I 100% want to sign up for that. But I'm not like, oh no, what if I'm not here anymore? It's like, I'm just some fucking guy.
Yeah.
You know?
No, I'm the same way. There's no God.
Mhm.
We got to cut that shit out. I don't know. It's a shame that it's still a thing. It's
Crazy.
so annoying that it's still a thing. It's crazy.
Yeah, dude.
When people have their beliefs, they have to cut it out. Stop it.
Yeah.
It's not improving. It's not making the world better.
Uh-huh.
It's retrograde. It's just dumb. There's no God. And people are like, well, you can't. There's no God. Just shut up.
Just come on.
Just come on.
Just come on. That's you and me debate. We should do like atheist debates, but it's like you and me.
One of those like Oxford Union things. Where like some like renowned like pastor who like respectfully. And
Well,
like, come on, dude.
Mr. Laxton, you just got to consider, everything has a first cause. Even the universe itself has a first cause.
Come on, what are we doing here? Really? This? We could be doing anything else. We're doing first cause.
I'm sorry, moderator. I don't believe that is a proper response. He for the last 40 minutes, he's just been saying, "Come on."
I would like to make the supposition that come on.
Yeah. Although, I mean, the video I made recently, why I'm an atheist and you should be too.
Doing numbers.
It is doing numbers.
Yeah.
And it's interesting when I posted it because there's so many other, like you brought up Israel Palestine. There's the Russia Ukraine war, right? There's all these social issues going on in the U.S. and it's like is there a God? That's so like early.
Yeah.
Aughts, like those like kind of debates, and it's like, no, that's a central thing that people are thinking about still.
Yeah, and it's such a waste of time.
Yeah, I think so too. But I don't think it's going away anytime soon because I think the West, with the exception of the United States, gets more and more secular.
Yeah.
Right, but religious people have more babies, So
yeah, so all these atheist guys start fucking.
Yeah. Ooh, that's interesting.
Is it?
Can you imagine?
Atheist, yes. Why not? Yeah, I can imagine.
I'm imagining
It's
it
not
right
different.
now.
Can you imagine just a regular person having sex?
I think a room full of people that identify as atheist, not people that are atheists, but people that think it's important to.
Okay, yeah, people are like, yeah. That's always annoying. Like, religious people are like, oh, atheists are always going around preaching. It's like, no, that's never been a problem historically. Unless you're talking about like communist regimes where you weren't allowed to have religion.
Well, I was about to ask you that because your parents are from the Soviet Union.
Yeah.
So how do they feel about all this stuff? Because they're Jews from Soviet Russia. So
I was raised atheist.
Really? Okay. Interesting. Because a lot of the times people that are like against That actually happened in the comment section of my video. Actually, people from I think this guy from Eastern Europe, forget exactly where, but he was like, "Hey, dude, I know what it's like to live under atheism because I lived under communism." And it's like, I'm sure that there are people that grew up in the Soviet Union or other like terrible like communist regimes that escaped to the West and are still like, and also religion is nonsense.
Yeah, of course it will. I mean, it'd be hard not to be like that, but like also not being, it's not imposing atheism in a sense. It's just preventing you from going to religion. It's preventing you from having anything that's higher in value than the state.
Right.
But it's not like saying preaching, you can't preach atheism, just common sense. There's no God, there's no proof of evidence of it, blah, blah. It's just a waste of time. But the problem is so much, like there's states that still have like blue laws. You can't buy liquor on Sundays. There's so much dumb shit that we've just accepted as of the world. And it's like, it'd be nice if we could just get rid of all that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. And the picture you painted about the militant atheists, I mean, I've met way more militant religious people than militant atheists. And most militant atheists, and I'm not talking about, like you said, I'm not talking about like fucking Pol Pot and Stalin, right? Yeah. Who were more advocates of an idiotic ideology than atheism itself. Yeah. But like most of the militant atheists I've met have literally been teenage boys. So it's fine. That makes it sound like I'm meeting teenage boys. You know what I mean? I was also a teenage boy. Don't clip that.
Don't clip it. Don't let anyone know I was a teenage boy. I've always been this man.
Yeah. I mean, if I said I've always looked like this, I don't know if the conclusion people would come to is I've never been a teenage boy.
It's hard to imagine you looking different, I would say. Your features don't look like they lend themselves to having been that much different when you're
if you look at like high school pictures of me, like I have a little more weight on me and I have a shaved head, but I basically look the same. You know what I mean? Same hairline, same bags under the eyes.
Oh, you've always had sad eyes.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? This isn't like worn down. Make no mistake about it. I am worn down, but this is just like biological.
Have you thought about like getting like a little cosmetic thing to like?
Dude, I wouldn't have any cosmetic surgery done, except maybe if my hairline got worse.
Oh yeah,
because that's so low risk. You go to Turkey and they put, and if it doesn't look good, you just shave it off again. It doesn't matter. It's like so low risk. But I certainly wouldn't break both of my shins to be 2 inches taller.
No, that's an insane one.
It's wild, dude. I'm like, that's straight up mental illness, man.
Yeah, but like getting like Botox in the under eyes or something.
I think
a big deal.
Well, two things. One, it goes back to it's kind of weirdly feminine to be like that concerned about how you look. I think, you know what I mean? I get if you're a model, first of all, if you were literally getting paid with how you look, but I don't know if you'll believe this, but I'm not a model. But if you were, then you get all that shit done.
Yeah.
But also, there's so many people, especially in New York City, right? We both live in New York. There's so many men and women of a certain age walking around. They have this uncanny valley look to them because they refuse to just age naturally.
Yeah.
And it's like, you're going to get older and your looks will fade. That is, unless we stop aging, right? That's always going to happen. And you make yourself look worse if you try to I think it's better to look 60 than to be 60 and look like a 50-year-old that had something bad happen to his or her face. You know what I mean? I don't get the lip fillers, man. I really don't. Have you ever like seen a woman and been like, that stupid thin lip bitch? Have you ever thought that?
Yes. We're not on good terms anymore. Yes, I have met Irish women. Is that what you're asking me? Have I ever seen a thin-lipped Irish ghost woman?
It must be like a thing that like is weird about me as a straight man that I literally don't care about the size of a woman's lips.
No, I think...
Never thought about it.
Yeah, I get that.
I've never I remember one time I was at a roast battle show and a comic made fun of the woman comic with like a joke about her having thin lips, and it was a good joke, but I'm like, well, that's such an esoteric thing that nobody cares about. And then like a few years later, I see all these women walking around New York City with clown lips, dude.
Yeah.
Like, why are you doing that? And I get that I'm only noticing the botched jobs.
Yeah.
Right. Like obviously that's the thing with anything, but I don't even have full faith in myself. I will probably actually, sorry, I know this is all over the place. I will get the plastic surgery that everyone is getting.
Yeah.
Because like once I have,
Yeah.
That's like the field you're going to,
Yeah,
right?
you don't want to be on the vanguard of like something new. It's like it's been tested, people are doing it. I'll just be part of the main populace.
Well, because it would be if we get to the point now, for example, where you could stop or at least majorly slow down aging.
Yeah.
If you were like, I'm not going to participate, I think it would almost have the vibe of like, somebody that doesn't want to wear regular deodorant, they want natural deodorant, and it's like no one wants this, and actually we're all uncomfortable with how you smell.
Yeah.
Can you imagine in the future, like there's legislation passed, be like, listen, I get body autonomy, right? But at the same time, like when you look at someone and they have a wrinkly face, it affects your day.
Yeah.
Right. So now government mandated Botox injections for everybody.
Yeah. Like Escape from LA kind of thing. That wasn't government mandated. Just like there's the Surgeon General was like all fucked up plastic surgery guy.
I saw this guy that fucked with his eyes. This guy had plastic surgery. And this is like peak body dysmorphia. And I'm not downplaying.
Was it just an Asian man? Was this your first Asian that you met?
I'm like, dude,
his eyes were
so, oh my God. And I tried to talk to him and he was like, ni hao ma. And I'm like, what? Dude, just say
and
hello.
And then he climbed under the ceiling and disappeared. Dude, crazy dude. You meant a ninja.
First of all, isn't it crazy that like Chinese guys and black people, like black guys, they catcall people the same way? Like black people say, hey, yo ma. And Chinese people say, ni hao ma. Dude, I shouldn't ever be allowed to talk into a microphone.
No, that was great. That was fun.
Yeah.
That was good.
If anybody found that funny, please let me know. I think this might be a only me and Ilya situation. But sometimes that's what it's about, dude.
No, they're wrong. If you're not on board with this, I don't want you listening to this podcast.
Yeah.
Turn it off and don't recommend it to people.
Oh, okay. That would be a good marketing tool to get people to share.
We don't want you to watch.
Please don't. No, but there was a guy, first of all, there's insecurities that I get, like insecurity that a man or a woman can have. And then there's insecurities where I'm like, I don't even understand how you got here. The lip being one of them. But there was this guy and he was like, my eyes aren't like narrow enough. It was actually the opposite of what you were saying. He was like, I think he said, I have wide prey eyes, right? I'm like, dude, you just have big eyes.
Yeah.
And he like fucked with them in a way that now he like sees all fucked up now.
Oh.
And his eyes don't even look better. Not crazy.
That is great. That's disturbing.
I know, dude. I was thinking about this the other day because I'm like, okay, what would I fix? And I'm like, okay, I'm not doing the limb lengthening surgery, right?
Yeah.
Which, by the way, it makes you, based on my very limited Wikipedia research, it makes you 2 to 3 inches taller.
Yeah.
Which in my case would make me average height. Can you imagine? But I'm in a wheelchair. I'm like, but if I could stand up, I would be average height. Isn't that cool? And then I have a big forehead, right? But how do you can't, there's no way to fix that because my brain is in here, right? You can't shave this down.
You probably could shave down how thick do you need your skull cap to be?
Maxim, and I swear to God, this is the last thing I'll ask you to do. Can you Google, I don't even know how you would Google this. Can I get plastic surgery to make my forehead smaller? Watch his wife sees this later. She's like, honey, your forehead's fine. You're like, oh no, it was for Bobby. And she's like, oh, okay, I understand. I understand now. You can? How does it work?
It's just hairline lowering.
Oh, but that's obvious, isn't it? Okay. But I have the same, then you would just be like, that guy has a very long head.
Yeah.
Right? No.
I want just an overall cranial reduction of some sort.
There's things that guys do where I want to tell them that like, all they're doing is highlighting their insecurity, like a comb over, right? Where you're like bald on the top and you like comb it over. It's like that looks worse than just the bald spot on your head, right?
You ever see Red Dragon where like there's a scene where Hannibal Lecter is like feeding Ray Liotta his own brain and he cut open like the skull part and like taking pieces out. But because you're sedated, like you could do that to a person like when you do brain surgery without feeling it, certain parts of the brain. It's like maybe just shave down the skull cap before you put it back down. And you can probably take it down a little bit.
I love that interjection because I was like, you just got to accept certain things about yourself. And you're like, I really do think you can make your forehead smaller.
Maybe I'm a hopeless optimist, but I think there's a way that you can get unnecessary cosmetic surgery to reduce the size of the thickness of your skull to sort of diminish the appearance of your forehead.
There is something tragic about someone having a flaw that's like minor or even non-existing and then just make it so much worse, right?
Yeah.
It's like when you watch a comic on stage and they have a joke that doesn't work,
Oh,
and
yeah,
then
they
instead of moving on,
they spiral.
they just start spiraling, which is certainly something I've never done, dude.
Yeah.
I've never done it in a way that it's ruined my career.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
Like you've never done that?
I've never. Yeah,
I can't imagine you spiraling. It's not in your.
No, because dude, it's honestly, I mean, I get it. Here's how I would understand spiraling on stage as a comedian. If you were like, I am doing the Tonight Show or whatever, and those aren't even live, so even that, it's like, I'm pretty sure if you fuck up bad enough, you could tell them like, please don't air that.
Yeah.
I have no idea, and I probably will never know. But like otherwise, you're on stage. The only people that care are in the room, and the only two types of people that are watching you bomb are other comedians who literally don't care.
But what if it's a famous person watching you, a high value person? See, I'm just tying it back to the very first thing I said. I just thought it was a nice clip, nice cap to the first thing I said, which is no valuable person has ever seen my stand or whatever.
That was a great way to start the episode. But like literally, it doesn't matter. You fuck up, and then it's a bunch of strangers that will never see you again. Doesn't matter.
I mean, there's probably different ways to do it, but my instinct would be like, just you can't still try to have fun if you can, or let them know. You know, I feel like you have to acknowledge it, otherwise it's so weird.
Yeah. But one of my biggest pet peeves is when the audience is just like okay, and then every comedian is like, oh, well, you guys aren't. What is the library in here? It's like, well, that doesn't make.
Someone stole my library bit.
I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry I had to find out this way.
I still got the Dick Factory things.
to say to an audience like you can laugh is almost like saying to someone like you could come, you know.
Yeah.
You can come. It's like, okay, like I'd like to, but it doesn't kind of work like that.
Yeah, it's not helping them. Yeah.
It's like, are you going to come?
Yeah, it's like make them laugh. Try. And if they're tough, do what you can.
It's also, dude, like, I mean, I've been on this this no free will swag for a while, dude.
Yeah.
I read one book and now I'm an expert.
Which book?
It's Robert.
The Da Vinci Code. Just like a popular fiction.
It's Robert Sapolsky's Determined. I'm a simp for this book, dude. I've been talking about it nonstop. Because it perfectly lays out, like, I don't think someone can read this book and come away with thinking like there is free will.
Yeah, I don't believe in free will either.
But
people always misinterpret what that means as a concept. People act like you've destroyed the concept of joy in life and nothing matters. Mm-hmm. It's like, no, I just think logically as a matter of just pure physical fact. It's just not.
Well, and then also my thing is, okay, so they're two separate things, right? Is something true and is something useful? And just because something's true doesn't mean it's useful and vice versa. But in the case of free will, I mean, the logical explanation of why it's true is just like, it's almost manifest to me. But why it's useful is like, you can't really fully be mad at anyone or anything.
Yeah.
Like, and it's almost like a superpower. And I know
that's why I think a lot of people are terrified of it, because so much of society has been built on that. Our entire criminal justice system relies on a sense of free will. Mm-hmm. And it would be like catastrophic to society if we were like to recognize that it's not really quite how it works.
Yeah, and he actually lays it out in his book, Criminal Justice, because that's the main criticism people have. They're like, if there's no free will, you can put people in prison. And his argument is basically we have to move from a free will oriented justice system to like a quarantine model, which is determine how dangerous they are and for how long and operate accordingly. Like, so like Ted Bundy, you could say it's not his fault, but also he can't be around us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So either, put him in prison or execute him, depending on how you feel about that. But to me, it's not any more complicated than that.
Yeah. But I think the problem is a lot of people think it would diminish everything about life, which it wouldn't, but I get why they think that.
The biggest bonus, dude, is like someone almost hit me on their bike, which is a daily occurrence in New York City, right?
Yeah.
All New York City is if you're walking around, it's people on bikes wanting to hit you, right? That's all it is. Everything out the Empire State Building.
They should make a new death wish. It's just kill a bike. My intrusive thought is sometimes I see someone going by on a bike and I kind of just like spear tackle them.
Yeah.
And I just imagine how the collision. Mm-hmm. I think it'd be very satisfying.
Yeah. And any time where I could think like, what if something happened and I was right and everybody knew it? Yeah. That's a fun little thing to run the pinwheel.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. What if I was right and everyone knew it? Ugh. But yeah, a guy almost hit me with my bike, and I would for literally 2 seconds was angry at him, and then I was like, oh yeah, he's not the author of his actions. And then I'm like, well, I don't have to be angry anymore. Like it would not. I'm not like some Buddhist monk. I'm like, oh, but like to continue being like, how dare he?
Imagine you getting like violently assaulted. It's like, you're not the author of your actions. Like kick you in the face.
That would be testing. You know, how much does he really
like those
believe
Buddhist
this?
monks who set themselves on fire, like that level of not commitment, but just a true belief.
Well, and speaking of fire, Ilya, I think this has been another fire episode between two best buds, man. So, hey, I know you said anybody that would listen to you is not worth your time, but just for shits and giggles, why don't you tell the listeners where they could find you?
Just check out my clips on Instagram at Ilya Laxin, ILYALAKSIN, and if you book anything, I have no reason to say no to you. So ask. Let me know.
Hell yeah, dude.
I don't know what that was.
Well, Ilya, there's been a lot of
plugging my
times.
free time.
There's been a lot of times where I said thank you for no good reason, but now I really mean it. Thank you for being on the podcast. And remember, folks, early to bed, early to rise makes a man healthy, wealthy, and wise. I'm just plain Night Owls. You know I love you.
Thank you.